how much priority do you think Unai Emery will put on the FA Cup this season? Obviously, we play Middlesbrough Saturday evening live on BBC One. Are you going to that, John? Are you actually going there?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, are you looking forward to
it? Yeah. No. How do I explain this without frustrating people and annoying people? I just feel like at the moment, I don't think there's a massive emphasis from within Villa, to be honest, about the FA Cup, and I could be wrong, but I just feel like this is a moment for Villa to take stock, kind of breathe a little bit, and I don't think a trip to Middlesbrough is exactly what we wanted. Put it this way, I think the FA Cup becomes relevant for us when or if we get to, if we have a chance to then get to a quarter-final or something, and we can see a trip to Wembley in the semi-final. I think that's when it becomes relevant, and I know fans won't like that because a lot of my mates that are Villa fans will kind of shout at me and say, "Oh no, the FA Cup I'd rather win the FA Cup than finish in the Champions League and stuff like that." And I understand it. I think if you asked the owners of Villa, what would you prefer? I think they would prefer the Champions League for the revenue and what it brings, and then that can then hopefully mean that you win competitions down the line. You got the Conference League as well this season, which again I think I don't know. I just feel like I don't think there's a huge emphasis on it at the moment. I think there'll be changes for the Borough game. There'll be players playing that need it for fitness, etc. And I'll be totally honest. I think if we lose the game or win the game, I can see the not being a massive. I don't know how to put it, but if we win the game, it's like okay, win the next round, cool. If we lose the game, I think people will just then say, okay, well, that's less fixture congestion. Sorry. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like there's massive jeopardy on us not getting far in the FA Cup this season because we've got the Champions League to go after, because we've got the Conference League to go after. Last season, I was furious that we lost to Stevenage, and before then, we never do well in the FA Cup in my lifetime. And I've always wanted us to go on a cup run, but this season just doesn't feel like we have the kind of the passion and the impetus to do it because we've got so much else going for us. And I know, again, Villa fans will be frustrated at that and probably want to criticise it, but I just think that's the way it is. And that's kind of diminished my enthusiasm for it, if I'm being totally honest, because, again, up until you get to the rounds of the quarterfinal or something, I think that's only when you can really look at it and think, oh, we can maybe do something now.
But you have to take these early rounds seriously to get there, though.
I know, but this is my point. I don't think Villa will matter too much if they do get knocked out. And yeah, we want to win every game and we'll go to Borough aiming to win. But if we don't, what's going to happen? There's not going to be a meltdown, I don't think. Or
There will. Come on. There's a meltdown over Gary Neville's team of the year. There will be a meltdown if we lose to Middlesbrough on Saturday night. Trust me, there will.
But look at what we're doing elsewhere.
I know. But we were frustrated after the Everton game, weren't we, in the League Cup?
But that was because we knew that those rounds wouldn't have really impacted us. I think we would have got through in the Conference League anyway. I think our league form wouldn't have suffered particularly too much. That was just an opportunity to get far because I think after that round, I mean, who's left in it now? Liverpool and Chelsea. One of them are going to win it. If Villa was still in it up until the quarters or semis, we'd have probably gone on to win ourselves. Liverpool are in it. Obviously, that would probably be the final or semi-final. I don't know, but I don't know how to explain myself without sounding like a non-Villa fan. But what was the question?
Do you not think there's an argument that it's a quiet month? There's only 3 games in January, that there's not massive need to rotate from a fitness point of view, that you just go and win the game?
I know, but you can't win the FA Cup this month, can you? I think you get past 2 rounds in January. But I'm just coming to the point of, if we lose the game, what's going to happen? I think fans, or not every fan, but a large proportion of fans will just look at it as, okay, well, if we're going to get knocked on the FA Cup, this is the season because we're going for Champions League, we're going for Conference League. Like, we have those 2 things going on. In any other season, we'd be going for the FA Cup because that's all we had. It was either that or getting Premier League. So that we kind of hung on to it. And again, I want us to win the FA Cup, of course I do. But I'm just saying right now, I'm looking elsewhere at the moment. If we get through Middlesbrough, then great. And then if we get, I don't know, someone at home and we beat them, then fantastic. All of a sudden, now my attention is on that again. And I'm thinking, we get to the quarters and semis, maybe we can juggle it all. But while that isn't a possibility just yet, it's a case of, okay, let's go to Borough. Hopefully we win. But if we don't, the season's not over at all. Like, it's, do you know what I mean? The FA Cup isn't even in my view at the moment, but it will be in my view if we go far. And that's where I'm trying to explain myself, basically.
I think the compromise with the FA Cup is if you can get through the first couple of rounds without really doing anything. That's the dream, isn't it? You
Yeah,
basically play nobody. You don't. If Middlesbrough away is not an easy fixture by any stretch of the imagination, by the way. But if you had the first couple of rounds were all home ties against lower league opposition, and you can win them with rotation, and it doesn't affect your league form, obviously that's amazing. You'd absolutely take that. When you get towards the latter stages, then you start to prioritise, maybe you go on and win a trophy this year. You're right in the way that this year it's worked out strangely for Villa, because it was all eyes really on, can Villa win the Conference League this year? That's the aim, because that gets you into the Europa League, and that's progression. You get your silverware ticked off, and you're in Europe for the year after as well. For the way the season's panned out so far, it's now, Christ, we can get into the Champions League through our league position and also win a trophy this year in one swoop, by still going all the way in the Conference League, that the domestic cups don't matter, in inverted quotes for those that are listening. But I can already see people in the comments, we're not doing this live, I'm just looking into the future, of people saying how we're disrespecting the FA Cup and why it's important to go on and win it. But I understand it is a juggling act that is hard to do.
I don't want to say I'm not disrespecting. What I'm saying is that for me, this season, the relevance of the FA Cup becomes relevant when we can see that we could do something in it. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just being totally honest. If we lose to Middlesbrough, I just honestly don't think there'll be much of a meltdown, because the caveat is simply, well, we've still got a chance to win a trophy this year. We've still got a chance to finish. I mean, hell, we're not in a title race still. You know, all those things are still happening. So, you know, the FA Cup, although a lot of people don't, you know, aren't particularly fussed about it, a lot of people should be, but they're not. The FA Cup won't be going anywhere hopefully anyway, in another 100 years. Hopefully that will be a competition that's going to, you know, live on forever. And I know we haven't won it in a long time, but this season just feels like a season that could really transform us, I think, in terms of getting Champions League, etc. That is my focus, and I'm not going to act like, do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, we can win everything. If I'm putting my priorities on the table, the priority for Villa, I do think this season is to get Champions League football. And, you know, sorry if that offends anyone, but I just think that could be and that would stop Villa selling a top player in the summer. That would stop all those things. It would keep Emery at the club for many more years to come, because we then have access to more revenue. All those things happen. Yeah. Us becoming a better team makes it easier to win trophies as well. This season, yeah, we got a good chance to win a trophy, but we have in previous seasons as well, if we put our mind to it, and we didn't. So why should we put our mind to it now when we've got other things as well? Again, we should put our mind to it when it becomes relevant. I just think going to Borough, do we play our best team and try and win the game, you know, 4-0 or whatever? We ain't going to do that. We're just not. And that's where I'm at with it.
It's an interesting dynamics. My opinion has changed over the course of the season. We do a podcast where we give our opinion every week. You can go back and find things of both of us from early this season where we're now saying contrasting things, but that's the nature of having an ever-changing opinion week by week. But I remember asking you months ago, probably after the Everton game, to be fair, in the League Cup, what is our priority? And Emery said, and you said, the Premier League. And I was arguing, why is the Premier League the priority? What can Villa really do? Maybe get in the top 6. Why can't we go all the way and win a trophy? My opinion has changed now. Of course, the Premier League is the priority, because we're second in the start of the new year. Yeah. The priority is getting into the Champions League. And I've said my piece on it loads of times, why I would pick top 4 over a trophy win this season specifically, because of all the reasons you've just said. It holds on to your best players. It gives you more revenue. You can do more transfer business. You can start upgrading your stadium in years to come, etc., etc., etc. You can't do any of that by winning the FA Cup. It's nothing in comparison to the Champions League and the opportunities that opens up. And I get that there's this exactly. Yeah, I get winning trophies is the pinnacle of football. Why play football if winning things is not the aim? But this is 2024. It's about money. It's about competing at the top. Best competition with the best other teams in the world, and getting through to the FA Cup when you might play Middlesbrough, Blackburn, I don't know, Crystal Palace, like crap teams. You get all the way to the final, you win it, you play 6 or 7 games, you win a trophy. Yeah, brilliant, happy days. Villa get 3 million in prize money. What do you do after that? What does that do for you? Getting into the Champions League opens so many doors that has to be the priority.
Winning a trophy is massive, though. I get. Of
course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Winning the trophy is the thing, and that would, you know, end many years of us not winning anything. And that is absolutely everything I wanted. If Villa get to the quarterfinal, then my full focus, not full focus, but I've got a massive focus on them. But it's just at the moment, we're going to Middlesbrough. If we win or lose, I'm going to be very indifferent. If we win, then okay, let's see who we get next, and then who we get after that and after that. But if we lose, okay, that's a shame. Move on. That's just how I feel about it. I think that's how a lot of fans will feel about it, and fans from a certain generation might not. But I'm not going to lie. Do you know what I mean? It's just an opinion.
No, I want you to be honest. I want you to just tell me how you feel about things. You don't have to sugarcoat your opinion because you might offend a certain generation or a certain set of YouTube comments. The way you feel is the way you feel. And I think I'll feel very differently about losing against Middlesbrough than I did about losing against Everton back in September. Because that was the start of the season. It was still early doors. I genuinely thought the Carabao Cup was a genuine possibility to secure some European competition well in advance of even getting back into the Conference League. The finals in February. You go all in for that. That was very frustrating to lose back then. Fast forward 3 months, we're second in the league. Champions League is a massive, genuine possibility that has to be prioritised now over the FA Cup. Yeah. Having said that, if you can go to Middlesbrough and make 4 or 5 changes and still win, delighted with that. Like you said, see who we play next.
Yeah. And then you crack on. I just kind of round up this season. I just think is a season for Villa. We have the kind of the key to become something that we want to become for many years to come. Getting the Champions League, getting that revenue, etc. We could really transform ourselves this season and over the next few years, like Tottenham have, like other teams have done, not like Leicester or Wolves or etc. like that, because we have a proper plan in place and we know what we want to become, and we've given Emery all the access to what he wants to do. Winning the FA Cup would be great for silverware. But that's the kind of the full stop there. I just feel like this season we've got something that we can then compete for the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, in Europe, etc., for many years to come, like other clubs have done. If this season goes as we want it to, if we win the FA Cup, it doesn't give us access to buy more players. To then, this sounds stupid, but we could either win the FA Cup this year once or win the FA Cup maybe 2 or 3 times over the next 10 years. Put it that way. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
This is what I've said before. Yeah, I think getting into the Champions League makes you a better club, better squad.
Years to come.
It allows you to then win things in years to come rather than in the here and now.
It's not just a fluke that Villa might have won the FA Cup when they were crap in 2014 or 15. Yeah, that would have been fantastic, but this is different now. This just feels like we're getting to a point where we can become a club that challenges for these trophies consistently and consecutively if we get Champions League this season and if we can continue to do that, going forward.